Hey, Pastor Tom here. Somebody asked me this week what it's like when someone else preaches on a Sunday morning. Let me walk through what I go through when I'm not the primary communicator on a Sunday.
As a pastor, what is it like when other people preach on Sundays for you?
Oh, so great question. There's a couple things when other people are preaching on Sunday at Faith. Initially, there's two things that I wrestle with right away. Number one is the fact that you know me, I always have words. So I've always got something to say. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, I want to communicate because I feel like the Lord's always speaking in me and through me. But there's also a part of me that week before, there's a ton of pressure off my shoulders. As a pastor, as a communicator, you're praying, studying constantly, not just when you're sitting at your desk, but when you're driving, in between meetings, you're always thinking about the message. And so it's a constant, it's on you all the time. And so when you're not preaching, it's like you kind of have that freedom. So it's really beautiful. What I love about Roger and so many people, we're so blessed here at Faith because there are so many preachers in our sanctuary, in our congregation, our family, that even if they're not on staff, they're great communicators. So Roger is a pastor who, is just in our pews, in our faith family, who serves in ministry. One thing I tell all of the guest speakers that we have is what's most important for me is, number one, hear God's voice, right? Communicate what God puts on your heart. But I want you to be you. What I don't want anyone to do is be me. We don't need a bunch of me, trying to be more like me or communicate like me. Just be you. And here's why that's so important for us here at Faith is because at Faith, we believe in diversity. We believe that heaven is going to look diverse. We want different styles. We want different backgrounds. We want different illustrations. I want Roger to preach the way he preaches. He even mentioned that in the message. Like he said something about the way I speak and the way he speaks. And I laughed for a second. But what I love is that when he gets up there, he's him. He preaches in his, what would you call it? Southern gospel type way. You know what I mean? He's got his amens and his hallelujahs and he there's those. I don't use those phrases, but I love it when he does. Because he gets up there and he preaches. He had that big TD Jakes towel that he was wearing white, but I was like, this dude is awesome. I love this guy. And he preaches the way that God has gifted him to preach. And then this coming Sunday when I speak, I will speak completely different. I'll use the style that I speak. And when somebody else preaches, we want them to be who they are. Why? Because I believe that the kingdom of God is diverse. I believe that so often we get stuck on style as if a specific style is the right way. And that's not it. From worship styles to preaching styles to different service styles, there's so many different ways to have church. There's so many different ways to worship. And I just love that here at Faith, we get a little bit of taste of diversity. That on a given Sunday, somebody may show up and preach the word and sounds different than me. They use different illustrations than I use. And I just love that. I love the fact that here at Faith, we are full on embracing diversity. And we want worship to have different, sometimes we go acoustic, sometimes we go full band, sometimes, so we want it to look different. We want it to feel different. We want it to sound different. We want to embrace diversity because I believe the kingdom of God is diverse and we want to celebrate and worship with the full kingdom, not just our preference.